now moving into the part of our programme which is about the Tánaiste launching with pride and pleasure from all of us the National Action Plan to implement the United Nations Security Resolution 1325, and Mary will support in the launching of that plan. So I would like to go directly over to the Tánaiste, if I may, and you're extremely welcome, Tánaiste.
Thanks very much, Agnes. Thank you very much, Inez, for your introduction. Happily, I only heard half of the question. Probably means if I had to answer it, I'd only have to give half an answer, but that's no problem. First of all, deputies, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, I want to first of all thank you all for coming here to Ivy House this morning for the launch of Ireland's National Action Plan on UN Security Resolution 1325. Today, after an extensive period of consultation and dialogue, we're proud to launch Ireland's National Action Plan in relation to Resolution 1325 on women, peace and security. At the outset, I want to thank everyone gathered here today for the dedication, expertise and hard work which you have contributed throughout this process, and to congratulate you on what is a significant achievement. The National Action Plan is a powerful statement of Ireland's commitment to the rights of women and girls affected by conflict. Ireland now joins a growing number of countries who have adopted national action plans and who, in doing so, have made a firm commitment to the practical implementation of this landmark resolution. It is particularly fitting that the plan is being launched today, the first day of the 16 days of activism, the international campaign to combat gender-based violence. Resolution 1325, adopted in 2000, represented a truly momentous break from traditional views of warfare and its consequences. It not only focused the world's attention on the very different effects that war has on men and women, it also recognized that women must be at the center of rebuilding their communities and nations following conflict. The role that women have played in the Arab Spring and the challenge of ensuring that their voices continue to be heard as the process of state building begins demonstrates the importance of this resolution. I met recently with the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, and I shared with him my concern that the Arab Spring should not become an Arab winter for women in the region. The resolution centres on three core objectives. First, it calls for the full participation of women in decision-making regarding issues relating to peace and security. Second, it calls for the protection of women and girls from gender-based violence. And third, it calls for the implementation of gender perspectives in all peacemaking and peace-building actions that are undertaken by the UN and its member states. Simply put, Resolution 1325 is an unprecedented document of groundbreaking importance in the promotion of gender equality on the international stage. Ireland's engagement with the resolution is long-standing. We were proud to co-sponsor 1325 and the subsequent UN resolutions designed to reinforce it. Since its adoption, we have been active members in a number of international fora tasked with promoting its implementation, including the EU 1325 Task Force in Brussels and the Group of Friends of 1325 in New York. The objectives of 1325 are central to Irish Aid's work in conflict and fragile states. As the 10th anniversary of the adoption of Resolution 1325 approached last year, we undertook a pioneering international cross-learning initiative which brought together a truly inspirational group of women who had experienced and survived conflict from Ireland, Northern Ireland, Liberia and Timor-Leste. I would like to pay particular tribute to the role played in this process by Baroness Nuala O'Loan in her capacity as Ireland's Special Envoy on 1325. Nuala enriched the cross-learning process with her vast experience and insight gained at the coalface of many decades of involvement in conflict resolution. The final report of the Cross-Learning Initiative was presented to the head of UN Women, Michelle Bachelet, in New York to mark the 10th anniversary of the resolution. Our cross-learning report continues to make a positive contribution to ongoing discussions on women, peace and security in the UN and other international fora. A number of you here today directly contributed to the great success of this initiative, and I commend you for your commitment, determination and hard work enriching a process that has made a real difference. The Cross-Learning Initiative was also designed to inform the development of Ireland's National Action Plan. We were eager to ensure that the resolution would not exist as some kind of abstract, distant concept, and that on the contrary it would have real significance and practical effect. One example of how we will put the plan into action will be through our continuing membership of the Joint Consortium on Gender-Based Violence, of which my department is an active member. The Consortium has played a central role in the development of the National Action Plan, and it is therefore appropriate that the plan is being launched this morning while the Joint Consortium is holding its annual meeting with its patron, Mary Robinson. And I'm delighted that Mary is co-launching the plan with me today, given her long-standing personal dedication to this issue. In beginning the process of creating our National Action Plan, it was important to ensure that we drew on the breadth and depth of experience that exists in this country on issues relating to women, peace and security. In February 2010, a consultative group was established, bringing together a range of civil society organisations, including the Joint Consortium, as well as academia, government departments on Garda Síochána and the Defence Forces. In October of the same year, the consultative process was extended. An independent chair, Ms. Inez McCormack, was appointed. Dr. Nata Duvery, a gender and development expert from NUI Galway, was also asked to produce the first draft of the plan. Ms. Shirley Graham was asked to carry out a nationwide consultation process with women who had experienced conflict. And I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Inez, Nata and Shirley for their excellent work in fulfilling these roles in the process. Without your efforts, we would not have such a comprehensive and well-considered document that we have before us today. At the end of this period of listening and consultation, the National Action Plan was formally approved by the Government earlier this year. Its completion and adoption are testament to the formidable commitment and expertise demonstrated by each member of the consultative group. I thank each of you for the role that you have played in developing Ireland's National Action Plan and for the contribution you have made to an unprecedented and innovative process. The document itself makes a range of practical and substantive commitments. Reflecting the content of the resolution itself, the plan is structured along 5 main pillars: prevention, participation, protection, relief, recovery and rehabilitation, and promotion by the Irish Government of the resolution. In attempting to prevent gender-based violence and sexual exploitation and abuse in conflict, we identified a need to provide improved training in relation to human rights and gender equality to Irish civil and military personnel deployed abroad. We will also support the capacity of our partners in civil society in their efforts to prevent and respond to gender-based violence in conflict-affected countries. One example of our current work in this area is Irish Aid's support to gender-based violence programming in the Dadaab refugee camp in Kenya, currently hosting approximately 500,000 Somali refugees. Women and girls suffer gender-based violence both en route to Somalia and in the camp, and this programme provides vital services for the survivors whilst also reducing the incidence of gender-based violence in the camp environment. Supporting projects such as this one will be a key element of implementing the plan. On the participation of women in post-conflict activities, we address issues related to the recruitment and retention of women in the Defence Forces, and we commit to support civil society and community initiatives promoting women's political participation. We will strengthen our support for participation of women in fragile states such as the Democratic Republic of Congo, where we are supporting, through an NGO partner, a vibrant group of grassroots women's organisations on issues of women's empowerment, leadership and sexual violence. In order to better protect women from gender-based violence, we will ensure that better accountability mechanisms are in place to handle cases of discrimination, sexual harassment and bullying. In this regard, I am delighted to announce funding of €100,000 to the Office of the UN Special Representative on Sexual Violence and Conflict, Margot Wallström. These funds will be used to support the Special Representative's team of experts in helping national authorities to prevent and respond to sexual violence during conflict. The team will support civilian and military justice officials in building cases, making prosecutions and enforcing court decisions. Target countries include Liberia, Bosnia-Herzegovina and Sudan. Ireland is proud to support such valuable work, and I understand that we should also be seeing a video message that Margot Wallström has sent this morning commending you for your work, and I look forward to working closely with her on this important issue. On issues relating to post-conflict relief, recovery and rehabilitation, the National Action Plan outlines commitments to ensure that Ireland's activities and post-conflict initiatives, including security sector reform and disarmament, demobilisation and reintegration, incorporate women's perspectives. We will build on our experience in countries such as Sierra Leone, where we have supported the National Police to develop standard operation procedures for the investigation of sexual and domestic violent offences. We will encourage systematic consultation with women's civil society groups as part of this process. Finally, we will ensure that Resolution 1325 and its provisions continue to be promoted in a range of national and international fora. Whether in the context of the European Union, the United Nations or the Organisation for Security and Cooperation in Europe, which Ireland will chair in 2012, we will advocate for the full implementation of 1325 and related human rights instruments. Above all, the National Action Plan is intended to be a living document. As new challenges emerge and new lessons are learned, it is designed to be adapted and respond to shifting demands. This is why the plan contains provisions for monitoring and evaluation. A monitoring group will be formed, bringing together government, civil society and academia. It will be tasked with the production of progress reports on the implementation of the plan. These mechanisms will ensure that Ireland's National Action Plan does not remain static and unresponsive. They are designed to strengthen the document by allowing it to respond to issues as they develop. I would like to close by reiterating my thanks to all of you. I am confident that the work we have carried out together will have a real and meaningful effect on the lives of women and girls who have experienced the ravages of conflict. The launch of our National Action Plan marks the beginning of a new phase of listening and responding to their needs. Thank you.
Thank you, Tánaiste. In the contributions we've heard already, both from Mary and the research that's been done all over the world, it is clear that one of the most important ways of making all of this work is political leadership. So we thank you for coming here today and giving that political leadership to making this work to get change on the ground. And we're just going to see a video message from Margot, but before I do, could I also welcome here today Maureen O'Sullivan, who's a deputy and who is a member of the Joint Committee of Foreign Affairs, who'll be participating in monitoring the NAP. I'm saying that because there's political leadership, but there's also very clearly out of NAP it's important to have civic society working together with the elected representatives in their Oireachtas to make this work as well. So you're very welcome. May we see the message from... Yeah.
Dear friends, first of all, I'm very sorry that I cannot be with you today in person, since I'm currently traveling in West Africa. And first of all, I'd like to thank Ireland for your commitment to the fight against sexual violence as a tool of war. And you have demonstrated your support since the very beginning of my mandate as the Special Representative of the Secretary General. Specifically, I want to thank you wholeheartedly for your financial support to my team of experts on the rule of law. Just announced by your Deputy Prime Minister, and I will not even try to pronounce his name in Gaelic. I know that this will be a very valuable contribution to the work of the team. They have already visited and provided support to 3 countries, Liberia, the Congo and South Sudan. And there is no shortage of countries that could actually use their help. I wish I could be with you for the annual Joint Consortium on gender-based violence today, but I had to attend the anniversary event to celebrate Security Council Resolution 1325 with the Prime Minister and the Minister of Family of Côte d'Ivoire just outside Abidjan. Here I will underscore that conflict-related sexual violence is neither inevitable, unspeakable, or a lesser crime. I want to congratulate Ireland on the launch of the National Action Plan on Resolution 1325, and this is great news. I would like to take this opportunity to ask you to make full use of this National Action Plan also in the EU context, because there are still too many of the EU countries which still have not yet adopted one. Finally, my best wishes to all of you in Ireland from Côte d'Ivoire, and I wish you a very successful event. Thank you and goodbye.
Could I just make the point that Margot very much wanted to be heard here today, both to thank the Irish Government and the Tánaiste for the contribution, but also because, as you know, she was here last year, and she did that herself somewhere in West Africa, I suspect, and I don't think the bottles clanking had anything to do with her. I mark this for her reputation, okay?